This might just be the easiest way to make a whiskey sour ever. Hi friends of cocktails! Today we're looking at homemade cocktails on tap. And yes, that includes sour cocktails with a creamy head. We've done batch cocktails before, and we'll do them again soon. But what if you could make sour cocktails that you don't need to even shake, but still get that nice aeration and texture of a well-shaken cocktail? We'll test this out on the whiskey sour, the Daiquiri and the Aviation. But you could of course use it for any cocktail you'd like to have on tap, ready at a moment's notice. Old-fashioned, Manhattan, Martini, Negroni, go for it. So if you're ready to make delicious cocktails that are incredibly easy to serve, it's cocktail time. I think batching cocktails in a bottle is a great simple way to make your life easier when you have to make a lot of cocktails in a short period of time. But to take it even a step further, especially for sours, tap cocktails are the answer. To pull that off, you'll need super juice, which we've covered, and this. We've used the same 2-liter kegs for the soup ration episode, but this time we're also using the tap and the gas cartridges to push out our cocktails. Nitrous oxide for the Daiquiri and the Aviation, and pure nitrous for the whiskey sour, which we'll actually make in a siphon. We wanted to have a foamy head, but we don't want it to be all foam. We've used a similar keg system for an outside bar at a cocktail bar I worked at. If you put effort into making great batch cocktails, using a tap system can make a lot of sense for a bar. You can batch them before a shift or during slow hours, and a bartender of any skill level can serve them without worrying about pours of certain ingredients not being consistent because of a busy bar. They're even suitable for non-alcoholic cocktails. All of that applies for hosting your friends for a cocktail party as well, so I'll leave a link for this in the description. If you'd like to learn more about how to install a proper home or bar tap system, I recommend you check out this video by Callan on the Bartenders Broadcast Network. Dean is a well-known bartender in the industry and really knows his stuff. One quick note before we start making the keg Daiquiri. While this is a 2-liter keg, the manufacturer suggests filling it with no more than 1.5 liters of liquid, leaving enough space for the gas, making sure there's no damage to your keg from the pressure. There will still be space for around 10 pre-diluted cocktails in here, if you'll make full-sized servings. For the Daiquiri, you'll need light rum, lime super juice, simple syrup, a little saline solution, and water for the dilution. I'll combine all ingredients plus dilution, based on the measurements of a single serve. That's easier to calculate with milliliters. And when we divide the full volume of the keg with the total volume of the cocktail, we see that we can fit 9.21 daiquiris into the keg. So into a large container, pour 553 ml of light rum. I'm using Havana Club 3 years, but I'd love to hear what your daiquiri go-to rum is. Follow that with equal amounts of lime super juice and 1:1 simple syrup. 207 ml of each will give us the sweet and sour balance. With that punchy lime freshness super juice is known for. To highlight the flavors, we're adding saline solution. 2 drops for the single serve can roughly be rounded to 18 or 19 drops. It's up to you. With water I'm going for 55% in terms of dilution, which might sound a lot, but shaken cocktails quickly get a lot of dilution, even up to 60% of other ingredients combined. Here I'm adding 532 ml. Mix well in the container, then pour it into our keg. Close the lid with a tap and add the nitrous oxide gas. Make sure the tap is closed before doing so. Give it a little shake, which is also advised before serving the cocktail. As far as prep work for the keg Daiquiri is concerned, this is complete. But we of course don't want room temperature cocktails, so we'll need to make sure this is properly chilled before serving. You can keep it in the fridge for a few hours, but I'll just place the whole keg into an ice bath, which is great for occasions where you know the cocktails will be going pretty quickly, like a cocktail party. Once sufficiently cold, grab a really well chilled coupe glass, place it under the tap and slowly pour your Daiquiri. Garnish it if you like, or keep it minimalistic as is, simple and beautiful. It's citrusy on the nose with a great balance of sweet and sour, but it's the rum that's the main player. This cocktail just reminds me of how ready I am for the summer. Next up, a cocktail that's all about balance, the Aviation. You really don't want somebody free pouring any of its 4 ingredients, because it will quickly get too sweet, floral, tart or boozy. You'll want to find the perfect balance of gin, maraschino liqueur, crème de violette, and lemon super juice. The saline is there to boost the flavors, as always. Same as before, base the total amounts of the ingredients on the volume of the keg divided by the amounts of a single serve. For the Aviation, we'll multiply the amounts by 10.75. My preferred ratio differs slightly from the norm, as I think 1.5 ounce makes the Aviation a more balanced cocktail than a typical 2 ounce pour. For the keg version, that means we're adding 484 ml of its namesake gin, Aviation American Gin. Follow that with 161 ml of maraschino liqueur. Luxardo is of course the standard, but Maraska from Zadar, Croatia, make their own version as well. Next up, the key Aviation ingredient, that was lost from the recipe after it was omitted from the Savoy cocktail book in 1930, and it didn't make a comeback until 2007, when it was available in the US again. 81 ml of creme de violette, and this wouldn't be a sour without citrus juice, or the batch days ahead without super juice, so add 242 ml of lemon super juice. With all 4 classic ingredients in this cocktail, we can now enjoy the cocktail in the way Hugo Esslin created it back in 1916. We're just making it pop a little more, with 21 drops of saline solution. And again at 55% dilution, which in this case represents 532 ml of good old H2O. Mix, pour in the keg, seal carefully and disperse the nitrous oxide gas. Then is the rating game, to chill the keg, which happens fast thanks to the magic of editing. Grab an ice-cold Nick and Nora glass and pour yourself a serving of the Aviation. This is so fast we could call it the Concorde. It's already beautiful thanks to the gentle hue from the creme de violette. But let's add the finishing touch, an Amarena cherry, ready for takeoff. And bring your friends along for the flight, since there's plenty of room on board. Cheers guys! It has a nice floral flavor with a hint of sweetness and a sour finish. Maraschino adds a subtle nutty undertone, with the gin providing a wonderful botanical base to balance it all. On to the last cocktail of the day, and something that's only possible thanks to 2 things: super syrup and nitrogen. The first one combines the sweetener and the foaming agent, thanks to methyl cellulose. Make sure to check out how to make this amazing egg white alternative for batch sours in the linked episode below. It will change how you prep for cocktail parties. And the second one is gas, that's used for nitro coffee. It will foam up your cocktail to give it a frothy head without turning everything into a foam, which would happen if you mix super syrup and nitrous oxide, which we used for the other 2 cocktails. This special cartridge means I'll be using my easy nitrous siphon. We can fill this one up to the full 1 liter mark. So when we mix together our bourbon, in my case that will be Maker's Mark, with lemon super juice, super syrup, saline solution and our dilution. We'll be calculating the amounts to the full capacity of our siphon. Based on my calculations, I can fit 6.14 of my single serve whiskey sours in here. So I'm starting with 369 ml of bourbon. Again, if you have a favorite bourbon or even rye for your whiskey sours, share it with everyone in the comments. Follow that with 138 ml of super syrup. This syrup is based on the research and work done by Mike Boferi at LA's Thunderbolt Bar and can be used for any sour cocktail where you use egg whites. Next, an equal amount of our second super ingredient, lemon super juice. If you make bigger batches of super juice, divide it into smaller bottles, place them in the freezer and take them out when needed. Saline solution is another thing that goes into basically every sour that I make. 2 drops in the single serve means 12 drops into our keg version. Remember, shaking a cocktail doesn't just chill it and give it a nice texture, it also dilutes it significantly. Here we're just adding water, 355 ml. As before, give it a stir, then transfer into our container, this time the Easy Nitro. Add the cartridge, give it a good shake, then add another cartridge. This will give us a really nice frothy head once we pour the cocktail. Then you chill, and so does the cocktail. Once it's cold enough and it's time to serve the cocktail, grab a low tumbler glass, fill it with ice and chill it before slowly pouring a serving of the whiskey sour. Couldn't be simpler. You could serve the other 2 cocktails in tumbler glasses over ice as well, if you don't have space in the freezer for stemmed glasses. For garnish, you can go with the lemon peel, but lemon super juice gives it a nice citrusy aroma already, so another cocktail cherry it is. Who wouldn't be impressed by this? It's as creamy and delicious, as if it just came from the shaker. A true whiskey sour in every sense. The frothy head has a bit bigger bubbles, but has settled into a beautiful foam. I'm super happy with the result. I'm sure there's at least 1 cocktail you'd love to have on tap for a fast and easy cocktail time at home. Let me know which one that is in the comments below. Next week we look at how, and more importantly, why you could make this keg last you for way more than 10 cocktails. In the meantime, check out how to use this keg for suppression. Cheers, friends of cocktails.